Okay, well, let's see. Do we have the slides? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, so what are we going to talk about in 5 quick minutes? First of all, the most important thing is why are we here? And that is to get adoption for Bitcoin. And what happened to get adoption for other things in the past? Well, why are equity stocks so widely held in America now? Because Charles Schwab introduced the lower cost emissions. Before then, people that were saying you should charge pretty much exactly what firms of Bitcoin charge now. You look at Swap Bitcoin and a bunch of others who talk here, they charge 1% to get in and out. That is very expensive for people, and it's very hard to get mass adoption. Institutions, meanwhile, all rely upon what they call OTC trading. You can listen to Twitter Spaces, they talk about it all the time, as if there's some magic to trading with a big broker to get their costs down. But what's actually happening is they're trading and they're taking what the real costs in the market are and putting on a spread. So what's happened recently? Well, we've had 2 months of nonsense caused by U.S. regulators. First, we saw Signature Bank after Silvergate Bank get forcibly closed. And when that happened, you can see all those squiggles on that chart. That's showing spreads widening. And it's showing them getting to be a kind of ridiculous level where you see backwards prices, bids higher than offers by 15 basis points. It's kind of stupid stuff. And then you saw another squiggle later on when a couple of large market makers exited the Bitcoin dollar market. But what does this really translate to? It translates to cost. And the cost of trading Bitcoin went from on average 6 basis points fairly steadily to as much as 18 in March and then 12 last month. And it's still at 9, so it's still elevated. Direct proof of the cost of U.S. government regulation to U.S.-based investors. But when you look at those costs, there's a solution. And yes, this is a self-serving presentation. The solution is CoinRoutes. Because what do? We help people by placing orders, not necessarily just taking the best price that they see at that instant, but by knowing the entire market and placing orders intelligently. It turns out that in April, we traded about 521 orders that were of over $25,000 in Bitcoin dollars for our clients. It was almost $1 billion worth. We were better than the cost to actually take liquidity by 17 basis points or 0.17%. That gets to very large numbers very fast for firms that are trading. If you look at these numbers, which were small, you'll see that we were less than 2.5 basis points away from the midpoint of Bitcoin. Contrast that with the average market maker where spreads, even before all this mischievous, was about 13 basis points. So there's dramatic savings by using smart software. But to understand it, let's go to the videotape and look at it.
So this is a demo of Smart Post, and we'll show how we get excess liquidity here. In this particular screen, what you're seeing are a bunch of different Bitcoin products, from Bitcoin against dollar, Bitcoin trading in Tether, Bitcoin dollar perpetual swap, Bitcoin Tether perpetual swap, Bitcoin against euro, pounds, the Bitcoin USD iPerp, Bitcoin USDC, Bitcoin USDC perpetual, and even one Bitcoin Tether future, just to give you an idea. But what we're looking at on the screen is I've highlighted Bitcoin dollar. This is a chart of Bitcoin dollar today, and these are orders that we've done. This is a level 2 display showing all of the market makers and exchanges that we have configured for this particular account. I could change that at any time by adding, so I can sit in here and say, you know what, let me put in Crosstower. And so then when I do that, Crosstower shows up in the pricing, comes in down here, goes over there. But for now, let's show how we would buy or sell. So in this particular example, let's first start with something simple. Let's buy 10 Bitcoin, and I'm going to set it up to buy, and when I'm just going to hit enter. Essentially what it's going to do is it's going to trade against simulators from a couple of different exchanges, as well as the UAT environments from a couple of market makers that are sending in rational prices for us. So we hit the buy button. What it's going to do is you could take a look at the order and you could see how it's trading. So this is the order. That was very fast. And you can see that it traded itself on with Cumberland and B2C2 and did it almost immediately. That will happen in situations where market makers are offering within a reasonable target price as defined by the superset of all the exchanges. You can see how it did when you look at the order, because in addition to knowing where did it route, and we can see that it did half with B2C2 and half with Cumberland, we'd immediately tell you a transaction cost analysis. And in this particular example, 10 Bitcoin was bought less than a basis point away from the offer side, net of fees. So it did a really good job of buying very quickly, but that was 10. So let's look at a larger order here, and we'll look at 100. So let's try to do 100. And in this particular case, we'll buy again. And we'll hit enter. And let's watch the order. So what is it doing? Well, it has routed orders open right now on Coinbase Pro and Kraken, and we'll watch as the order starts to get executed. You can see small pieces are getting executed right now, and over time that will increase. You can see more orders are getting routed. Now we have other things going on. We can take a look, and we can see that it's done 36 of it on Coinbase Pro. It's done 7 with Cumberland, 49 with Galaxy, 6 with Kraken. It's now done, and the trade cost analysis says we traded within 5 basis points on 100 Bitcoin from the far side and the mid price, and more or less in line with the market other than that. We look at a lot of these metrics all the time. So you can see how quickly and how cheaply relative to the market you can trade using Smart Post.
So in 5 minutes, that's all I could say. Anybody interested can come by booth 517 or find us at www.coinroutes.com, and we're happy to explain how you can save money trading crypto as well.
Yeah.